Hello champion, welcome to my math class. I'm teacher Adam. I'm going to teach the topic of rate, ratio and proportion. Is one of the most important unit in IGCSE math extended and even for those ones who are doing core. So I'm going to start with rate, ratio and proportion. So or some books they start by, they call it, some books call it, they say ratio. They start with ratio, then they go to rate and proportion. So luckily, I have in the previous class I taught you about proportion. I was majorly focusing on direct and inverse proportion. Now I'm going to teach you what is ratio and rate for those ones who don't know, and then we can also review some questions in proportion. It's good also to do it again. So we're going to learn what is ratio generally, and I'm going to refer from the book. All students, all candidates should go to the book. Why am I making this video? I'm making it for my people from Africa. Normally Africa and those ones who are outside, and you don't understand other teachers what they're teaching. I'll use our own method so that it's easier for you to understand. And actually I'm going to teach the whole concept, not only a specific subunit, but I'm going to teach everything that is supposed to be a full IGCSE program. So working with ratio, what is a ratio? We say a ratio is a numerical comparison of two amounts. Is when you compare two amounts. Maybe you have $20,000 and someone has $10,000, and then you say who has the biggest fraction. So in that case, you have to find, you compare your amount with another one. Or somebody, let's say someone says I'm X years old and my brother is twice my age, and then you say what is the ratio of our age? So obviously in that sense, you see it's algebra being applied to represent quantity, and then later on you have to have an idea, okay, one is X, the other one is double, so 2X. And if you are supposed to find the ratio, obviously if X is 1, the other one will be 2. So you see there's that, and actually with the ratio there is distribution. There is distribution, and the same unit is also applied in shares. So this unit is very important because it's one of the most favorable topic when you're discussing with people who are working with banks, people who are working in the banks, or investors, people who are buying shares in big companies. So it's very important for everyone to know this topic because we practice it daily. So we say ratio is a numerical comparison of two amounts. The order in which you write the amount is very important. For example, if there is one teacher for every 25 students in a school, then the ratio of teacher to student is 1 to 25. This is very important. And then we say ratio can also be written as a fraction. I've said. So we say ratio is a numerical comparison of two amount. And what we say, ratio can be written as a fraction, in that sense maybe A over B, or it can be written in this sense like A to B. So all these refer to ratio. Now for example, let's say we say 3, let's say you can say 3 over 5, or this one can be written as 3 to 5. Okay, so when you write two quantities as a ratio, you must make sure they are both in the same unit. So one thing that we need to do to write two quantities in ratio, what should we do? We must make sure they are in the same unit. Very good. So if you want to write something in ratio, you must make sure they're in the same unit. You can't compare, say, you say maybe X is equal to Y or X to Y. Let's say you say you want to say maybe somebody who is 5 years is equal to somebody who is 10. It cannot be possible. So unless or maybe you say you say maybe centimeter to meters, 1 centimeter to 20 kilometer to, so you need to have the same unit. If it's centimeter, 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 so you compare them in the same quantity and same unit, and the same unit, correct? So it's for example, writing ratio, and also we also need to know, sometimes we also need to simplify ratio. In simplifying ratio, we need to have common factor. So all these things are applicable. And then we can as well get some more definition. Some book says a ratio is a way of comparing one part of a whole to another. And then we say ratio are used to compare one part to another part, the same. And what do ratios look like? We say ratio involves 2 or 3 different numbers separate using a colon or single digits. You can say using a colon, comma, using a comma, colon, or dot, like this one, a dot. Correct. So in all ratio question, who or what is mentioned first in the question will be associated with the first part of the ratio. So we understand that about the first part of the ratio, and we can have some good example of how ratio are used in distribution of quantities. So we say, for example, Sanjita mixes 8 liters of white paint with 3 liters of red paint to get pink paint. What is the ratio of? Okay, that's good. So we go to the example. So Sanjita mixes 8 liters of white paint with 3 liters of red paint to get pink paint. What's the ratio of red paint to white paint? So you know how many red paint do we have? So we have 3 liters of red paint and 8 liters of white paint. So you say, obviously, the question number 1 here, the answer for A. Our answer, what will be our answer? We know it's red to white, and we have how many liters of we say 8 liters of white paint. So we say 8 of white paint, so 8 liters of white, and we have 3 liters of red. So they say red paint to white paint, so you just know red to white, so it's red is 3 to 8. That's the ratio. And they say white paint to the amount of paint in the mixture. Amount of paint in the mixture is how many? Is 8 plus 3. The total ratio is 8 plus 3. That's for B. And then you get 11. Then they say white paint to the total amount of paint in the mixture. So it's 8 to the total amount, which is 11. This is total amount. So 8 to 11. Then C, you say red paint to the total amount of paint in the mixture. So this is also simple. So red paint is how many total? Red paint is 3 to the total amount of the mixture is 11. So you do that and get ratio. That's how you represent ratio. And then sometimes we also have a question that they say maybe making a concrete. Say to make concrete, you mix cement, sand, gravel in the ratio 1 to 2 to 4. What is the ratio of cement to gravel? This is very simple. So we have to make concrete, like here you're making a concrete. To make concrete, you mix the cement. You have sand, and then you have a gravel in the ratio 1 to 2 to 4. Then they say, what is the ratio of cement to gravel? Cement to gravel. That's simple. Just say cement, ratio of cement to gravel. It is just 1 to 4. You get your answer. And then what's the ratio of sand to gravel? What's the ratio of sand to gravel? It's 2 to 4. Simplify if possible. So both sides are 2 divided by 2 is 1. They're both divisible by 2. 1 to 2. That's ratio. What's the ratio of gravel to the total amount of concrete? So gravel, the ratio of gravel was 4. Gravel. Total amount is 1 plus 2 plus 4, which is 7. So that means it is now 4 to 7. Total ratio. This is total to the total, 4 to 7. And then we say, what fraction of the concrete is cement? Fraction of the concrete. So cement is 1 out of 7. The fraction means 1 out of 7. That's how you do. So majority of the question here in this unit is just using ratios is not a big issue, because You just need to know when given ratio, first of all, you have to make sure, you need to make sure they are in the same unit. So for example, if you say something 3 centimeter to 1 meter, this is not ratio. Not ratio at all. They can only be ratio by making sure that this is 3 centimeter to, let's say, 100 centimeter. This makes sense. And therefore, you can simplify them and say this is 3 to 100. This is a ratio, but this is not a ratio. Correct. So you need to understand this. This is a ratio, but the other one is not a ratio. So we need to understand. So for example, if you're given, you can be given different examples and you're told to do or to find ratios. So you need to know how to find ratios. So you'll solve exercise 21.1 in the textbook. You'll have all these questions and I would like you to solve them on your own. Practice. If you have any question, you can kindly find us through our WhatsApp, number, our Instagram page, Adamside Education Center. We are in TikTok, Adamside International. We are in YouTube. Put their comment, which question did you struggle, and then we'll help you. Thank you very much. See you at the Top Champion. Let's meet in the next class. Bye bye.